just 34 days out from the election. Voting's already started in a number of states. The judge in Donald Trump's January 6th special counsel case has unsealed a new court filing just this afternoon. In the filing, special counsel Jack Smith outlines with new details why Donald Trump should be federally prosecuted for his attempted coup.
Well, it's October, and that was a surprise, but not really. Everything that Jack Smith released was not only well known in legal circles, but the entire nation saw it unfold live. And now that it's out there, will it make a difference? I mean, Trump was unanimously convicted by 12 jurors, 2 of whom were conservatives, on 34 separate felony counts. But that was just a cocktail before the 10-course dinner. And coming on the heels of Vance's two-step around the truth of the 2020 election, it has even more gravity.
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Here we go. Now, much of what you're about to hear, you already know, and the timing is perfect. With the election a month away, we face a decision that will alter the arc of our nation. Am I too dramatic?
Trump replaces over 50,000 civil servants with hardline MAGA loyalists. The federal oath of office now requires declaring loyalty to the president, not the Constitution.
In this new indictment, the federal government brought the same 4 charges from before, with different and additional supporting arguments. And look, the motion is clear. These are not official duties subject to immunity. When Trump lost in 2020, he resorted to an assortment of crimes to try and stay in office. With private co-conspirators, Trump then launched a series of, and I quote, increasingly desperate plans to overturn the legitimate election results. Now, there's 2 parts here. 1, Trump did this, and he involved a lot of people who went on the record. But the second part is the gaggle of weak little boys and girls who perpetuated it, from Rudy and Sidney Powell.
President Trump won this election in a landslide. It's going to be irrefutable. I'm going to release the Kraken.
To the most recent shit-the-bed performance by Johnny Donuts, to Hannity, Waters, Ingram, this putz,
the country's going to burn,
and the rest of conservative media.
The 2020 presidential election was not fair. No honest person would claim that it was fair.
They were all in on the lie. There is no and never was any evidence that the election was compromised anywhere, anytime. 60 court cases confirm that. But Trump understood his base better than anyone, and he egged them on that January day and nearly toppled the government. It was so bad. It was so bad. General Milley called China during the insurrection and assured them our government would not fall. But how sure was he?
We don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Now, we already know a Trump aide told investigators that Trump responded, so what, when he was informed that Pence had been rushed to a secure location by the Secret Service on January the 6th. And it was motivated by Trump's tweet attacking Pence because he, quote, didn't have the courage to certify the Electoral College results.
What did he ask you? What did he say to you when he came on the line?
I picked up the phone and the president asked me where I was on the electoral count that would take place that day. And I told him, despite what you issued last night from your campaign, Mr. President, you know, I've been very clear that I don't have the authority to reject votes during the electoral count or return those votes to the states. And it went downhill from there. The president became very irate on the phone. He said that if that was true, that he made a mistake 5 years ago.
So here's the guts of the indictment. Trump was planning to declare victory even before the election. And his plan all along, as he told all of his advisors, was that he would simply declare victory before all the ballots were counted and before any winner was projected. In a sick way, this is actually brilliant. Trump knew that no one at Fox, Newsmax, or OAN would defy him.
Tens of millions of Americans suspect this election was stolen from them.
Remember this?
Last week's violent attack on the Capitol was undemocratic, un-American, and criminal.
Just a couple weeks later, McCarthy was in Mar-a-Lago kissing his ass. On page 15 of the indictment, Trump told his family and his friends, it doesn't matter if you won or lost the election, you still have to fight like hell. But his next point might be the most damning. From page 5, Trump was suggesting that they sow seeds of dissent in Michigan, Detroit specifically, where votes were still being calculated. He said, make them riot, do it.
This is wrong what we're seeing right now. We're witnessing evil.
While some were dubious of Trump's conspiracy, they also mocked Trump's attorneys.
We get to see the machines that are crooked, the ballots that are fraudulent, and if we're wrong, we will be made fools of.
Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, and Sidney Powell. They were clowns. It was so comical. Rudy tried to text a Michigan GOP leader a proposed resolution declaring the election in dispute, but he sent it to the wrong phone number.
No, it isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. The President of the United States says, I didn't.
Truth isn't truth. Mr. Mayor, do you realize what...
While the conspiracy continued, Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was forced to acknowledge that Trump's claim that 10,000 people voted was all bullshit. But the story stayed alive, and Trump even said it again last year. Meanwhile, Trump and his advisors were planning on pressuring Pence to not certify the election on January the 6th. On Christmas Day 2020, several of these co-conspirators were texting amongst themselves, and one suggested they try to get Pence to permit an unlimited filibuster of the certification. Then he would ultimately gavel in Trump as president. Not in this indictment is a story of Pence calling former Vice President Dan Quayle for advice. Quayle reportedly said, "Are you crazy? You have to certify."
Mike Pence's, quote, 5 pages of contemporaneous notes of a meeting with the president at the time. Yes. So there's the vice president just writing it all down.
Which you better do anytime you talk to the guy.
And Jack Smith has all of those notes.
And here's where it gets serious. Trump wanted then RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel to promote a report accusing Dominion voting machines of being manipulated in a Michigan county. The same company that has since filed multiple defamation lawsuits over similar false claims and made Fox News pay $787 million. To her credit then, McDaniel refused. But in addendum today, McDaniel, she won't acknowledge that Trump lost the election. But the last resort to win over Pence didn't seem to be taking. Pence said he gradually and gently tried to convince Trump to accept the results of the election. That's almost funny. But Trump would not relent and kept pressuring Pence to block the certification of the Electoral College votes. The indictment lists 9 separate conversations that indicate Pence directly testified to investigators regarding the content of these conversations.
It went downhill from there.
Pence said he tried to flatter Trump by telling him he had taken a dying political party and gave it a new lease on life. That's a good twist. But Trump wasn't listening. Then this.
You know what I'm hearing the Pence? I'm hearing the Pence just caved.
No.
Is that true?
I didn't
I'm hearing reports that Pence caved.
No
I'm
way.
telling you, if Pence caved, we're going to drag through the streets.
In my opinion, the craziest, most dangerous in the Trump camp was this hump.
Let them call you racist. Wear it as a badge of honor.
Trump relayed his frustration and listened to Bannon's prediction.
All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. It's all converging, and now we're on, as they say, the point of attack, right? The point of attack tomorrow. I'll tell you this. It's not going to happen like you think it's going to happen, okay? It's going to be quite extraordinarily different.
Bannon is currently in jail for contempt, but he spoke to Trump in the days leading up to January 6th, and it's obvious he was in on the insurrection as well.
And all I can say is strap in.
And finally, when Trump tweeted his attack on Pence for not blocking the certification, the Capitol had already been overrun. Here's a sobering thing, though. If Trump wins, these charges will disappear, and Trump, with the backing of the courts, will be free to go after his enemies with the zeal of a bitter, cognitively declining psychopath. And up to 70 million people will vote for him. If that doesn't keep you awake at nights, then you're one of the 70 million.
Goddamn right.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
It's not fair.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Who's with me?
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.